season of Lotus Riché Ignites Show, bringing you realness, authenticity, and unparalleled wisdom from top leaders, business professionals, pioneers, and everyday people. Thank you for joining us. Have a great time during the show. All right, it's dynamite. It's time to ignite and take flight in every area of your life as the Lotus Riché Ignites Show soars to new heights. Tonight, our phenomenal guest is none other than Dr. Eric Kelly III. He is a mastermind, a genius. He is the phenomenal Dr. Eric Kelly, the CEO of the Black Business Olympics. Well, over here tonight on the Lotus Riché Ignites Show. Woo woo! Hello, and welcome to the show. Tonight, I have a phenomenal guest. So come on in, and get in where you fit in, because I've always got room around my table for you. And let's just face it, this past week has been a phenomenal week. And you all might be saying, what do you mean, Dr. Lotus? It's been a phenomenal week because I have had the pleasure to sit alongside so many entrepreneurs, so many great people all around the planet, from movie stars to producers, promoters, and people just like you and I. I've had the amazing pleasure to sit on the platform with those that are part of the Black Business Expo USA. That's right. And I must say, we streamed to hundreds of thousands and millions of people. And who knows, when Dr. Eric Kelly comes out, I may get some secret sauce for some analytic numbers. Because guess what? Every time the Black Business Olympics comes on the scene, they're always doing something new. They're always doing something innovative. And they are always doing something that is life-changing. So I want to invite you to come on in and get in where you fit in. Like I said, I always got room around my table for you and even around my studio. So when you come in, let us know where you're coming in from. If you're coming in from Japan, the Philippines, Norway, Alaska, wherever you're coming in from, go ahead and put it in the chat. And also, don't forget, go ahead and tag a friend, tag your dog Toto, and tag a friend of me and tell them to come on in, because your frenemies need to hear what we're talking about this evening. Also, when you come in, don't forget to put some L's in the comment. Give Dr. Eric Kelly III some love. And if you haven't done this already yet, go to my page, the Lotus Riché Ignites page, and share this with your friends and your frenemies. And don't forget, to all of you that's joining us on YouTube, make sure you share that out to your widest audience. So I'm gonna give you 30 seconds. Let's make it happen. We've got 24 seconds, count them, 24 seconds, because we're about to get this show started with none other than the remarkable Dr. Eric Kelly. Dr. Eric Kelly, A.W. Kelly III, is an acclaimed business leader, entrepreneur, artist, and author. Share it with somebody and tell them, come on in. All right. So let me tell you a little bit more about my wonderful guest, your guest, our guest. This amazing guy deserves all the L's, all the loves that you can put in the comments. So if you haven't put anything in the comment, what are you waiting for? Go ahead and put some L's in the comments. Now, Dr. Eric Kelly III is an acclaimed business leader. He's an entrepreneur. He's an artist. He's an author. He's a poet. He's a community activist and a global humanitarian who's lived in Durham, North Carolina. He was born in Washington, D.C. Y'all know it, whoop, whoop, right where I live. Dr. Eric Kelly III is the CEO of the Black Business Expo USA for more than 40 years. The Black Business Expo USA is one of the largest business showcases in the history of Black America in North America. That's right. It is the largest. And you know what? Dr. Kelly is also the founder of the Black Business Olympics, one of the largest virtual global. It's a phenomenon what it is. It's a phenomenon because he's bringing people of color from all around the world right there to that platform. So I always say I'm bringing inspiration to every nation. Why? Because I can. Well, guess what? He can too. And so with no further ado, I'm going to go backstage and I'm going to bring Dr. Eric Kelly III directly to you. He's here, Dr. Eric Kelly III. He is an acclaimed business leader, entrepreneur, artist. He is the CEO and founder of the Black Business Expo USA for more than 4 years.
Oh, you're here tonight on the Lotus Riché Ignites Show.
Hello, Dr. Kelly.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And on a phenomenal platform with a phenomenal woman. And when I think of you, I think about when I was in Maya Angelou's kitchen before she passed to go to the elders. And every time I see you, I think of her because she was just so magnificent in how she dealt with people, how she spoke to people, and more importantly, how she introduced people to other people. You know, in that room was Ashford and Simpson. And
Yes.
Ashford and Simpson was in the room. And you know, when you get in a room with people like that, a lot of times everybody's amazed, but she made it so comfortable. And one of the things I wanted to say as we start this journey, this show, I want to say to you and to your audience, thank you for allowing me and my family to share a platform that's truly worldwide.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Kelly. And it is an esteemed pleasure to have you here tonight. I just got to say, Doc, we have so much love, so much respect, so much admiration for what you do for people all around the world to help them really, I say, ignite and take flight in every area of their life, because it's just not about business. It's also about our lives, and where we start up is not where we're going to end up. And people like you help us to do better in our lives every day. And tonight we are going to be talking about a wonderful topic, sharing with people all over the world. So as we get started, folks, when you come in, go ahead and put put an E in the comment block. Go ahead and put an E in the comment block, because Dr. Kelly is here and we are about to get this party started for you tonight as we step into where we are when it comes to Black business. The power of Black business. The power of Black business is amazing. And so, Dr. Kelly, I want to know what inspired you, first of all, to come to the show to talk about the power of Black business, because let's face it, a lot of times people don't focus on Black business and its power.
Mm-hmm. Well, one thing that made me want to come to your show and talk about the power of Black business is my great-great-grandfather. Yes. And my great-grandfather, who was my daddy, said to me, the number one thing in the world today is to think. And then he said that the number 2 was to do research, and number 3 was to be a salesperson. Now, many people would say, well, wait a minute. Why don't you be a salesperson first, and be a thinker second? Well, my great-grandfather used to say, if you don't have the vision first, you're not going to get there. And then he would say, if you don't value your value, then your value would not be valuable. Then as I grew with my grandmother, there was another quote that was said, what you're looking for is what's looking for you. So tonight, for those business owners or Black business owners, I want to say one thing, and I want you to think about this for a moment as we curate this conversation. The Black Wall Streets all over the world, you know, Seneca City in New York, where they just took it from those black people. The Black Wall Streets in Tulsa, Oklahoma, where they bombed them. The Black Wall Streets in Los Angeles, California, in Washington, D.C., in Durham, North Carolina, which incidentally was the first Black Wall Street. Yes. They were burned out. Urban renewal, they called it, as they ran highways through a place here called Hayti. And the key thing is, all of those people were Black business owners. I keep
Yes.
talking about the wealth gap. And many people miss this, but the wealth gap is $171,000 compared to $17,000. If all Black people would start a business today, the wealth gap would disappear. And many
Exactly.
of us would say, well, everybody ain't ready to do business. But this is the thing that most people miss. If you open up a business in your neighborhood right now, and you
Yes.
thought about something somebody in your neighborhood needed, they would buy from you. And then that
Exactly.
6 hours that the money rotates in our community would change and rotate, like in the Hispanic community for months, in the Jewish community for years, and
Yes.
in all of the other communities, it would rotate more. We have got to understand that we represent $1.6 trillion.
Mhm.
We represent the 12 or 13 largest nation in the entire world, and
Yep.
everybody knows it but us.
Exactly.
Martin King, before he was assassinated, and many people would say, well, he said, I have a dream. But one of the things that he did say, he feared he led our people into the jaws of hell. What was he talking about? It was during the Montgomery Bus Boycott, when he stopped the flow of money in the government. It took 18 months where people walked. It didn't take any transportation. And then after that, he was snuffed out. Now, I want you to think about this. If Martin King was alive today, Martin King Jr. was alive today, what would he be doing? He would be still doing the kinds of things that we're working on right now, and that's connecting people globally. Why did he get the Nobel Peace Prize?
Yep.
Okay, it wasn't for non-violent movement. It was because he was connecting people worldwide. Why did Marcus Mosiah Garvey get? Why did he get what he got? And what I mean by that is, what was he trying to do to people? It wasn't to take people back to Africa. It was to show Black people in their greatness. And when you look at people like George Washington Carver, Fannie Lou Hamer, and you look at Benjamin Banneker, who went to Paris, France, and came here and laid out Washington, D.C. When you look at George Washington Carver, who made over 100 products with a small peanut, when you look at the shoulders that we stand on, that's why I came to your show today, because I stand on the shoulders of my great-grandfather. I stand on the shoulders of my grandmother. But more importantly, I stand on the shoulders of business owners who have lived right before me in a place called Durham, North Carolina, where there was 109 businesses downtown Durham, a railroad track that divided them, and then on Parrish Street, where the oldest insurance company in the world, North Carolina Mutual Life Insurance Company, along with Mechanic and Farmers Bank, were the stalwarts of where I was, as I had an opportunity to have a company on Black Wall Street. I stand on the shoulders of these people, and that's why I'm here at your show today.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Kelly. So put some E's, some K's, some DR's in the chat if you love to hear what you're hearing. Now, Doc, you talked about our greatness. Now, you have created a platform, and I know it was inspired with your grandmother and your mother, yet you have carried it on. So this is generations long. The Black Business Olympics, the Black Business Network. You are leading the way when it comes to Black networking, Black broadcasting, uplifting entrepreneurs all over the planet, giving them a platform where they can be seen and heard. And how are you doing it?
Well, it goes back to when I was in high school. I'm walking the halls of Hillside High School, just hanging out with the boys. You know, I'm from the project. So, you know, me and the guys, we doing our thing. We laughing and joking. And 3 teachers pulled me to the side, my art teacher, my history teacher, and my English teacher. They take me into the teacher's lounge. Here I am, a young guy. The guys are looking at me now. What did I do? I get in the teacher's lounge, and my teacher says to me, "Why are you cheating the world?" And I'm like, "What do you mean?" And my art teacher says that every day you come in my class and you play. And when it's time for art, you sit down the day of the class and you do the best piece of art in this class. These three teachers said, you're going to draw for us. I said, why do I have to do it? They say, because your future depends on it. So I drew for them. And at the end of the year, I got an art scholarship, letters from everywhere. Ended up being the first artist at North Carolina Central University. The reason I tell that story is because at that moment in time, my grandmother gave me the family car. And then when I graduated and opened up my agency, my grandmama walked to my office and said, because I got a scholarship, she saw the change in me. She saw the difference in me. And she wanted to do that with kids all over North Carolina, which later moved to nationwide. Now, the question is, why do I do it? I do it because I am here to serve and to raise scholarships for kids. Our kids are pushed toward basketball, football, athletics, singing, dancing, movies, being a rump shaker, being a criminal, being a stripper. This is what is called success for our kids. You look at the rap music today, and at one time it was the hip, the hop, the hippie, don't stop. Now it is, I will kill you because you look at me. And so our kids are in that whole, what I call hole of money. And what I want to do is change that for our kids, to show them entrepreneurs all over the globe. What we've been able to do. And a lot of times I don't talk about the numbers, but I'll talk about the numbers tonight. When we did our first one, the Black Business Olympics, which is something that I created, but I didn't create it because I came up with it. I created it because my great grandfather started me a long time ago saying, you got to put the vision first and you got to think. My grandmother said, this is something that we need to do as a family because other kids can get an opportunity to compete. So as we created this, and that's my, you caught me off guard. That is my grandpapa's house when Nene and Papa stayed. And that's where I grew up. I grew up in that house after. And what's interesting, since you brought the house up, this was the second house. My great grandfather had a house in the middle of 40 that was a 2-story house. And that 2-story house had my grandmother, had my grandmother and her 2 daughters who had 13 kids. My grandmother had 3 kids, and it was a great time. But this is where the Eric Keller Museum that started in 1972. You kind of threw me off when you threw that, but I think that's something that's called history. And so my grandmother said that this would be something great to do. And so the Olympics is to raise scholarships for kids and to show our kids entrepreneurs all over the world. And when I talk about those numbers, we did in our first one, 38,000. And then we did it 4 times last year. We had 48,000, 150,000, 350,000. At the end of the year, we had 800,000 people coming to an event just to see what we were doing. And so we expanded that out to Hulu, to YouTube, to LinkedIn, and about 12 other streaming services. And now we are at over 10 million people. And we are doing it every other month in this year. And what I say to business owners, you got to understand that to build capacity, you got to reach across the pond. You got to reach Africa. You got to reach Europe, Canada, South America, Brazil, Australia. There are Black people all over the world. And that's what I'm doing, is reaching out to Black people and serving Black people all over the world so they can see themselves in their greatness today.
Awesome. And you can show your greatness. You can see your greatness. And here's the thing that you said, Dr. Kelly, you're bringing people together. And I know personally, I was on a platform. I was on your platform and I moderated, and I got to teach people about dynamic global branding on a platform where maybe if I was somewhere else, they may have never seen it, especially being people of color, because a lot of different platforms that we pay to be on, they don't show those type of broadcasts. Mm-hmm. They show violent broadcasts, or they show broadcasts that's defaming women or people of color. And so with what you bring, you bring full positivity. You bring full ability to show our greatness. Okay. You talk really about the power of Black business through everything you do on your shows. And so I want to get right into some other things that you're doing. And I'd like you to kind of take a moment and let people know about each one of these things, because let's face it, I know that right now you are in Clubhouse. You're huge in Clubhouse. You're sharing in Clubhouse. Tell us about your Clubhouse.
Well, when you start thinking about getting information out, now I want to talk about a young lady when you talk about Clubhouse. She's known across this globe as the metaverse goddess. And as I'm doing the Black Business Expo, I reached out to her to say, hey, how you doing? You know, I see what you're doing. I'm watching people comment on you in Essence Magazine. I'm seeing information on Twitter. I'm seeing information everywhere. I want to know who are you and what are you doing? So when I reached out to her, she reached back and she said, what am I doing? And so I said to her, I'm serving Black people globally. And she said, that's what I'm doing also. And that young lady's name is Nicole Maxwell, technical consultant. And what she does is seminars all over the world to share with people the 1%. Remember, in the metaverse right now, you hear those words, metaverse, metaverse, universe, metaverse, but multiverse. You hear all these things as an older individual, and you get that fear because you don't know. But she is one of the people who's able to break it down so you can actually see and understand what the decentralized metaverse is all about. And so Nicole Maxwell is that person who shared with the Black Business Olympics. Now you got to understand, we're dealing with Black businesses globally. And I would always say in front of you, but who's dealing with Black businesses where Black business is going to go into the future? And that is what she's doing. And it has really been a compliment in terms of what we were able to do this month. Because, and I should say last week, because we had Nadia Roberts on our telecast.
Yes.
She is the metaverse queen. And when she raked the coals over our minds and shared with us how some of these people out here are still turning us into consumers, how some of these metaverses are turning us into followers. And now we begin to do what we've done all of these years. It's follow the follower, and you're following the wrong follower. And so these two brilliant women have opened the eyes and the minds of Black businesses all over the world. And I just want to say, when you ask me the question about what I am doing, and you ask me how I am doing it, one of the things that people don't understand, collaboration is power. Collaboration is power. How did me and you get together? Collaboration is power. You've been on the Black Business Network. I can get on the phone and call you on the phone and say, Dr. Lotus Riché, we need an anchor at 8 o'clock to 12 o'clock. And you would show up and show out. We can say, I need somebody on that Tuesday to talk about branding, to talk about videos. And for those who have not seen it, when you go to Black Business Olympics on YouTube right now, you can see all the ones that we've done. And not only that, you can see the good Dr. Lotus Riché not only being a moderator, but if you just take some time and look at the small things, like the videos that's going across the screen, the information that's going across the screen, you will see the brilliant work that you are doing. And again, my family wants to thank you for that. But more importantly, you will see what the business owners around the globe is doing. I talked to my mama last night, and she said something to me that I missed. And, we was looking at the show and we saw the magazines. And she said, you know what you ought to do on each one of the magazines? You ought to put the countries of where people are. You ought to put up there Africa. You ought to put up there the United Kingdom. You ought to put Burundi up there. You ought to put Australia up there. So people will know where you are and where the speakers are coming from. And when you talk about speakers, you got to talk about what they're saying to business owners each and every day.
Exactly. I love that. And so you said that collaboration is power, and you are a world-class thinker. You don't just think out of the box, you think out of the stratosphere. And so talk to us about the Mastermind Think Tank.
Wow. Just wow. You know, that's all you need to know. Wow. When I say wow about anything, what I'm saying is this. People have gotten away from having communication. People have gotten away from talking. People will listen to their phone, they will listen to the radio, they will watch television, and they won't talk to each other about business anymore. Remember what I said before. We was going up that ladder with those Black Wall Streets, and all of a sudden, highways was pushed through our communities. Redlining was done through our communities. Fires, bombs was pushed through our community. So instead of us continuing to talk about, okay, what are we going to do to rebuild? What we decided to do is to follow other people and start utilizing other products. That was the reason that it happened for that $1.6 trillion to be turned somewhere else. So now, right now, today, as you look at what's going on, when you look at the Mastermind Think Tank, it is a mastermind meeting where businesses come together, and the word mastermind means all of the minds come into the room. Okay. The word think tank means now we're in the room, we're going to think. Now, what are we going to think about in that meeting? But this what happens. Each one of the business owners will have something that's going on in their company. Let's just say you're having an issue with money, and you want to understand how to get more money to your customer or your client. Or you might have an issue with growth. And you might say, well, you know, Dr. Kelly, or some of the business owners, because I am not the principal person in the meeting. I turn into a business owner. I'm not the God in the room. I'm just one of the business owners. Let's say you had a problem with growth. And then each person in the room would say what they would do in terms of how you can grow your business. Now think a minute how powerful that is, because you as a business owner get a chance to hear other business owners saying to you what they would do with your challenge, your issue, or your problem you having in your business. What really is happening is people begin to communicate and talk about how to become successful. Because if you're in the industry right now, and you're not studying the 1, 2, or 3 top people in your industry, how are you going to compete? And that's what the Mastermind Think Tank is all about.
That's awesome. So go ahead, folks, put an M and a T in the comment, because I see a lot of folks rolling in some comments. So we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come right back to you, our viewers. Go ahead and tag somebody, share this broadcast out, and let us know who you tagging and who you're sharing, because it's critically important to get this type of information out. And so we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. Okay. Woo woo. I'm loving this, Dr. Kelly.
How many times have you been asked to help someone you didn't even know, a student, a business entrepreneur? Or did you ever even ask, where did they end up? That business, that friend, that entrepreneur. Well, just maybe they ended up in a gang, bankrupt, homeless, or worse, dead. Maybe they turned to crime, drugs, and alcohol. Did you ever wonder? Did you destroy their dream, or was your life always so easy? At the Black Business Olympics, we started a movement to help students complete. Give them hope and foster success. Help them to leave their dreams of providing laptops, computers, and up to $5,000 in scholarship funds. Today, we ask you to help a student, a business owner, or an entrepreneur to realize their dream by sponsoring them, supporting them, and buying from them. Consider this. With 1.6 trillion in our Black community, we only ask for a small donation for our students, our businesses, and our entrepreneurs. And you can change a life today. So I ask you, what are you going to do? Sit on the sidelines and watch our students in high school be losers, miss out on their dreams from lack of resources? Or are you going to donate to the movement and change their future and yours as well? Give us a call today at 919-308-9090. Change their life by investing with to the Black Business Olympic Fund. The Black Business Olympics, one of the largest business showcases of Black business in the history of the world.
Here tonight on the Lotus Riché Ignites Show.
Woo woo! Dr. Kelly, we are so happy to have you here. And for those of you that's just joining us, we are here tonight with the phenomenal, the remarkable, amazing trendsetter for all entrepreneurs around the planet. He is teaching us the power of Black business. And if you're just joining us, don't forget to hit the replay, share this broadcast out with someone today, because they need to hear what Dr. Eric Kelly III has to say. So Dr. Kelly, I want to thank you for sharing the amazing information that we've had over 10 million viewers. You also shared about some of the people that's upshoring us in the metaverse. Nicole Maxwell, she is the metaverse goddess. And there's another young lady you talked about earlier. You can mention her name as well. And you also shared with us that collaboration is power. And we just talked about the mastermind and the think tank. We also talked about the clubhouse. So let's go back. Let's go back, because I want to get a little famous now, because this is some secret sauce. Tell us about the Juneteenth Hall of Fame recipient.
Well, you know, I was I normally don't say I, but I'm going to say I in this particular moment. I was serving businesses all over the globe. Anytime somebody would call me, they'd say, "Hey, Dr. Kelly, I'm doing so and so and so, and how do I do it?" Yes. It's not that, and I tell people all the time, it's not that I'm so wise or I have all the wisdom or I have a lot of wisdom. It's just that when you're doing great things, the word gets around. And my mother would always say, great people don't walk around talking about being great. They just do great things. And so while people are calling me on the phone, I take out 2-3 hours, I serve them. I share with them how to get it done. Because my thing is, I want you to compete. I don't want you to just don't understand. And right. If you research, you can compete. And so while I was serving on a board, on a board of directors with a group, and that group was doing a event down in Houston, Texas. And I came into this group and I gave them, I think, about 20 hours of my time and talking to them about it. And then they found out what I was doing with the Black Business Expo and the global reach that I had, because I was reaching all over the world. And so they was getting ready to go under, so to speak, in terms of the event. And so what I did was I rescued the event by sharing with them how they could do it virtually and how they could do it physically at the same time. And so yes. I just thought that was just something to do. But lo and behold, Sheila Jackson Lee was watching. And Sheila Jackson Lee, who created the Juneteenth Hall of Fame, she inducted, and I want to mention the names that she inducted. She inducted, first person they inducted was Martin Luther King Jr. And then awesome. Harriet Tubman, Nipsey Hussle, Nelson Mandela, Rosa Parks, Muhammad Ali. And then they started, those were people who had gone on before. Okay. Then they began to list other folk. Clarence Avant, who's a entertainment media mogul. Oprah Winfrey, Les Brown, the Black Wall Street survivors. David Stewart who is one of the richest men in tech right now. Then, of course, Delord Parker. And, of course, LeBron James, one of the top basketball players of this time. And then Serena Williams, Robert Smith. Of course, we all know Robert Smith of Equity Partners. Then, of course, Sharetta Walton. And then Hill Hopper. And, of course, the last person that they inducted was Dr. Eric Keller III. And what was so great about that is I was inducted with a paintbrush in my hand. And a lot of people don't know that I am an artist, and that artist and the global reach that I have was why I was inducted into that Hall of Fame. And the gentleman that I want to thank personally, a gentleman by the name of I tell you, this gentleman, his name is Alan Thornton, and he does the 40-acre conference down in Houston, Texas. But Sheila Jackson Lee is going to be sending out letters to all of us. And I don't generally, I'm looking around on my desk. I thought I had this big trophy here, but the trophy's in the other room. But it's not about the trophy. I say to people this, Dr. Riché, service is a superpower. Anger is our kryptonite. What do I mean by that? Many times when you're doing things, you can fall prey to being angry because it doesn't work out your way. But if you are serving people and you are having humility, then you can get more things done. That's why collaboration is so powerful. For those people who would like to speak on our platform, and I know you're going to ask about it, that would like to speak on our platform, they can go to Black Business Expo USA and sign up to be on our platform. Many people say that, why are you doing it for free? The reason we do it for free to all of these speakers globally is because my grandmama said to me one time, when you charge people for things, you stop resources from coming in the house. So I believe in the resources. I believe in capacity building. And if I can, not if, when I build 365 days of Black business speakers speaking all over the globe, then guess what happens? We build a food quarter. We build a history quarter. We build a water quarter. We build a capacity for money to travel from us all over the globe. What Malcolm was talking about. Not only what Malcolm was talking about, what many people were talking about. So this is our website. It's being revamped at this particular time. And as you see, we have some African women on there who we've reached across to talk to. So if you would, Lotus, take us to the art site so people can see the art that is done with the Black Business Expo. And this here should be right there. Right there will show you what we just did. The Black Business Expo with the globe. The globe means global business all over the world. And with that being said, we're here to build a platform that's going to change people's lives. And when you're talking about changing people's lives, you have to talk about the business. And those business owners come from everywhere. They come from, as I said, from all parts of the world. The scholarships is why we do it, and what makes the scholarship so powerful, it gives our kids an opportunity to compete. As you know, entrepreneurs all over the world want to compete, and our kids need to compete. The average age in the world today is 31, and we want to tap into that average age as we give you business owners to talk about business all over the world. And as we show it, of course, you were the host.
Join
Dr. Eric Kelly III, and a host of phenomenal speakers from all around the globe for this 7-day virtual event that you don't want to miss.
The mission of the Black Business Expo is to raise scholarship money from kids all the way from high school, all the way from college. The Black Business Olympics is one of the largest Black business showcases in the world. It is an opportunity for businesses and companies to showcase their businesses globally. We are going to be giving away laptops up to $5,000 away to students. Again, I'm Olivia Appleberry, the founder of 2 Cents Finance and one of the speakers for the expo. I am so excited to see you there. For more info, go to www.blackbusinessexpousa.com or call 919-308-9090 and hope to see you there.
And that's what we're talking about. I am Black business.
Yes.
You know, our slogan is I am Black business from the moment I wake to the moment I sleep. I am Black business. Are you Black business? That is the question. And Lotus, if I could just do a shout out to two women who really made it happen these 7 days. And those 7 days, for those who didn't attend, were set up. Like the first day was empowerment, education, and inspiration. The second day was advertising, marketing, public relations. The third day was Black business and the metaverse and social media. The fourth day was diversity, equity, inclusion. The fifth day was Generation X versus Generation Z, the young folk versus the old folk. The sixth day was Black business and the culture, and the seventh day was Black business and the church. And these two women really made it happen. They called on everybody. And I should say 3 women. And I want to talk about those 3 women. One was Dr. Madeline Lewis. And Dr. Madeline Lewis called on all of the speakers to make sure that they were confirmed and was here on time. And then, of course, there was my production assistant. And I said 2 or 3, I may talk on 4 women, but my production assistant, which was Latoya Hinton, she made sure that the show ran so smooth, I couldn't have done it without. And I got to mention my guy, that was Mark Lee of Lee Entertainment, who made it happen also. And then, of course, there was Nicole Maxwell, who definitely put in the work and made sure that everything worked out. And then, of course, there was Sharon Campbell of Sharon Campbell Solutions, who was in the background sending out texts, making sure people was on point and on check. But then when I began to talk about other folk, and I could go on, and my team is probably going to hear this and say, you didn't miss my name. Margie McLean, who made sure, and I always talk about team, Margie McLean, who also made sure that we had speakers. And then, of course, we had Dr. Smalls and, man, Bruce George, Genius is Common, who's always our sponsor, made sure that we had more and more speakers. And Harold Whaley. Why I call on people's names is this, Lotus, or Dr. Riché, is that sometimes we're doing things and we forget who's really stirring the drink. And everybody's looking at Dr. Kelly and say, oh, you did a great job. And I'm saying, no, I can only be as great as the people who are around me. That is the only way. Greatness is not with the one. Greatness is with the team. How is your business structured? How is your business structured? Do you have a team, or are you an entrepreneur? And those are the kind. Yes, and of course, Tommy Morgan Jr. Yes, indeed. I can't. You know, Tommy Morgan Jr. actually sent us a young lady by the name of Dr. Benita Butt, who talked about financial literacy. And Yvette Searson, can't forget her who put her job on hold, which was her business on hold one day, did 4 hours for us. And when she finished, she got phone calls from her business. And she said that was the best sales call that she ever did.
Yes, that's phenomenal. And so many of you out there, we might not call each and every name, but know this, you are thought of just the same. If we call everybody's name, we would be here till next week. That is how so many entrepreneurs from all over the world stepped up and stepped in to do the things that needed to be done. And I've got to say a special shout out to Latoya Henson, myself, because she was right there. If I needed anything, she was right there. Nicole was right there. And even if it was something that they didn't have that I needed, they made sure they connected me with the person. They are the connectors. They are the engineers behind the scenes, and so many more. And Dr. Madeline, we so thank you. Dr. Butts, Sharon Campbell, Mark Lee, Dr. Lewis, Genius is Common, Tommy Morgan Jr., and so many more people. I just want to thank you. And of course, Mark Lee, my brother from another father and mother, thank you so much. And of course, it all trickles back to your mother and your grandmother and you, Dr. Kelly, having the tenacity.
Well, one of the things I want to say to everybody is this. When you are on the right side of history, you cannot be stopped.
That's true.
I want you to think about that today. You look at your business. Ask yourself, as you're looking at your business, are you on the right side of history? If Martin King was alive today, if Fannie Lou Hamer was alive today, if Madam C.J. Walker was alive today, if Marcus Garvey was alive today, what would they be doing? They would be connecting people all over the globe. If Malcolm X was here right now, what would he be doing? They would be connecting Black people all over the globe. We're on the right side of history. So with that being said, and you want to be on the right side of history with us, email us at erickelly45@gmail. And because of tonight, I set up a special email for everybody. And that email is billiontrillionu@AOL.com. billiontrillionu@AOL.com. But you can also get me at Dr. Eric Kelly 45@gmail. If you get me at Dr. Eric Kelly 45@gmail, I will give you a 1 hour free visionary strategy meeting. The price of that meeting is $3,285. I will give you a strategy meeting for free about your business. And I guarantee that either you will make $10,000 or $100,000 after you have 1 hour with me. I'm only giving out 10 because 10 times $100,000 is $1 million. So this is a $1 million opportunity for Black businesses around the globe and around the world.
So Dr. Kelly, the billion trillion, give me that email again. We want to make sure everybody has it.
billiontrillionu@AOL.com. But I want you to also, I want to give both of them. Dr. D.R. Kelly, Dr. Eric Kelly 45@gmail. You can reach me both places. And that's billion trillion, the letter U, not Y-O-U. That's the letter U.
Got it.
But Dr. Eric Kelly 45@gmail, email me there, or you can call. Let me give you the hotline.
Hotline.
The speaker hotline is 919-308-9090.
All right. Now, don't forget now, this is the speaker hotline, okay? So when you call this, be ready to speak because this is a hotline. And remember, you got to say what you need to say and do what you got to do because Dr. Kelly is here to help you, okay? So let me put this up here for you. And we will get this going. So I double dog dare you. You can call him even while he's on the show.
But now you also can go to blackbusinessolympics@gmail.com. That is also another place you can go. My team handles that email. I sent you to the personal. Let me send you to the team. blackbusinessolympics@gmail.com is where my team will meet and greet you. And they will take good care of you and make sure and ensure that not only you get information, but you're connected to businesses worldwide. This is what our great leaders envisioned so many years ago. So many years ago, think about it like this. Madam C.J. Walker created a product. Madam C.J. Walker was during a time where racism was at its highest height, but she was able to become a millionaire.
Yep.
For many people, please go and study her. Just go and study her. And I guarantee one of the things that you will learn is that Madam C.J. Walker's marketing and advertising was next level. She actually had a university. And many people would never knew that Madam C.J. Walker had a university for her hot iron comb. She had products that you use. She had resources that you wouldn't believe. So as you think about your business, stop thinking from the bottom to the top. It takes the same amount of time to do something small as it does to do something large. As you're sitting there, I want you to think about, why don't you email somebody to help you get to your destiny and your legacy? If you know of a kid who you think needs a scholarship, have them to go to our website and sign up for the scholarship. We're not just talking about it, it's what we do. And what I want you to think about this evening is think about those people that we shouted out. They are truly the people that are making it happen, not only with me, but all over the world. When I say people like Nigel Roberts, she's in a space that you don't even understand, called the metaverse. And she is transforming lives right now. She is letting you know places not to go. And then Nicole Maxwell, the metaverse goddess. Think about what I'm saying. Go to Nicole, go to Technical Consultants and go to her seminars and workshops where she breaks through the yoke of misunderstanding about the metaverse. Go there and check it out. And then Latoya Hinton, who has products. She has products for your body. She has beauty products for you. And I see you saying thank you to Sheila Jackson Lee, our great senator out of Houston, Texas. Yes, indeed. When you notice one thing that's going on here, Dr. Riché, I mentioned a lot of women. I mentioned a lot of brilliant women. And one of the reasons that I was raised by my grandmother, my great-grandmother, my mama, and I haven't even said my mama's name, Francis, as we say, Willie Francis Cagle. Francis Cagle, who worked with mentally challenged kids. Think about that for a moment. She worked with mentally challenged kids, and look at how I came out. When I have a challenge, I go to my mama, and I'm already knowing when I'm going to my mama, she's done dealt with mentally challenged kids. When it comes to me, I'm easy. I'm easy for her. But at the end of the day, I want to say to each and every one of you, if you really want to do something with your life and your legacy, step out on faith. Believe in what you're doing. Stop looking at the small stuff and look at who are the 3 top companies in your industry. Who are they? Study them. They didn't start from the bottom and go to the top. When we talk about Jeff Bezos, who has $300 million, and we look at black businesses and they only represent $200 million. You got one man that's got $1 million more than all the black businesses. There is a reason for that. It is not by no consequence that that is not happening. If we would open up black businesses right now, we would dwarf the Jeff Bezos of the world, the Microsofts of the world, the iPhones and all of these businesses of the world. The question to you, what are you gonna do about it? Not what I'm gonna do about it, because the Guinness World Book is looking at me saying you are breaking records. Ask yourself, why aren't you breaking records each and every day? There's a young lady. She is under 30 years old. And I want you to look this up. She runs Moon X Cosmetics. And she made $1,008,000 in one day. Ask yourself, why her and why not you? That's the key. She made $1,800,000 in one day with her cosmetics. You won't see that in Forbes. You won't see that in Time. You won't see that on the late night news. You won't see that on CNN. You won't see that nowhere but on the internet. Because in 1980, right now, with the advent of this telephone, our computer that's in our hand is more powerful than the computer that the president had in 1990. Think about that for a moment. We have so many young millionaires right now, and we don't even know them. But there are two things that we can do to get ahead of the curve. And that's to go to Google. I call it Googleini, and ask the question, who is the top black business in the world? We can go to YouTube and ask the question, what are the top 10 businesses in the world? But more importantly, we can take our own industry and put in there and see the top business in our industry, and then that's when we begin to compete. And as I continue to say to you, if you're a business owner out there and you want to compete, you want to do something great, you're tired of being poor to poor. And when I say poor to poor, that means that you started your business is going, and every month you got to pay a check to your business, and the 5 levels you're not reaching. And I'm going to give you those 5 levels. The first level is the worker bee. That's the person that's working. Yes, that's you. And then that's the manager who's managing the worker bee. Yes, that's you. And then the CEO who's running the business. Yes, that's you. And then, of course, the business who should be getting paid. Yes, that's you. And then the profit of everything. Yes, that's you. Ask yourself the question, where is your team? Where is each one of those levels? Because each one of those levels should be making a profit for you. The worker bee, the salesman is going out there and selling for your company, should be making some money for you. The person that's managing that sales force and those salespeople should be making some money for you, which is you. Okay. And then you, the CEO, you have to have some vision. You're the visionary strategist for the manager and for the worker bee, and you should be getting paid. Okay, but hold on. You have a business, and that business that is you should be getting paid. But wait a minute. What about the profit so that you can build and expand your business to the world? That should be getting paid, and that is you also. Now, where is the team? No team, no dream. Where is the team? Where is the structure that gets you to the next level? And if you're not looking at the structure, then why are we doing what we're doing?
Exactly. So, Doc, you always give great information. Dongate Group pulls in over $4 billion in annual revenue and employs 30,000 people. The company founder and CEO is Aliko Dangote, was recently ranked by Forbes as the richest person of African descent.
Well, you know what's more important about this gentleman here? What's more important is, just like Barack Obama, Many people would say, well, Barack didn't do this, and he didn't do that, and he didn't do this, and he didn't do that, and he should have done this, and he should have done that. Remember, at the end of the day, he was your president, and he ascended to being your president, which showed you that you can do anything on the planet if you put your hands and you put your monies together.
Yep.
Remember, during his candidacy, and I want everybody to think about this as you think about your business. This is a class I'm getting ready to give you, and it's going to pop your brain off your head. During his candidacy, John McCain was badgering him and saying to him, you said that you was going to use campaign finance. Okay, campaign finance, for those who don't know, is about $964 million to run your campaign. Okay, so McCain was pushing him into that box. And of course, for those who know politics, you know that Barack couldn't yell at McCain because America saw McCain as what? Their grandfather, okay, as a grandfather. So what Barack said to him is, yes, I understand that you want me. And I said that I would consider campaign finance. But what I wanted to do is allow the average American to donate to my campaign. I want the average American to donate to my campaign. $1, $5, $20, $30. I want the average person to donate to my campaign because I'm a man of the people. And so think about what his war chest turned into with $1, $2, $20, $50, because if we represented $1.6 trillion and we all gave him $1 to his campaign, that's $1.6 trillion for him to win. Right. Now ask yourself right now, this is the piece that knocks the brain off. Are you asking for $1, $2, $10 from your community to help your business grow? Yeah, you'll sit there and say, that's not a lot of money, but think about it for a moment. If everybody in your community gave you $20 right now, and the average person that plans for death plans 150 people, 250 people, the average person that plans for a wedding plans 250 people, do the math. What is $100 times 250 people, which is 200 of your friends? Yep. What is that number? Think about that. That's the power of Black business. The power of Black business is collaborating with your community to build your community to a space that allows you to build legacy for families all over the world. Do the numbers. If you're a speaker, okay, and you had 30 people to come to a speaking engagement for you, and each person paid $300, how much money would that be? And that 30 people were to represent your company, okay? And they did another 300 people at $300. How much money would that be? And then that 300 did another 300 and another 300 and another 300, and you was just only one speaker, magnifying it 30 by 30 by 30 by 30 times 300 by 300 by 300 by 300. You would be right there at $8 million.
Yes.
What else can you do with your time? We complain about not having enough time, but when you put your time in the right space, you are able to create a legacy for you and your family. And remember, every time you see a Black business, whether it's a good Black business or a great Black business, just remember that Black business represents somebody's family.
Yeah.
And if they're not doing it right, go in and say, hey, man, I came, I didn't like the service. Let's talk about it. Do you know that Black business owner would say to you, I am so glad that you are helping me to help people so that I can do a better job. But sometimes we believe if we open our mouth, we insert foot.
Yes.
We are a community of beautiful Black people all over the world. Let's not only enjoy each other, let's share with each other. No, we can't blame Africa for slavery. But what we can do is blame ourselves for not reaching back across and saying, we have the manpower, you have the resources. Let's take the manpower and resources and make this world a better place. Because the average age in Africa is 15. The average age in Europe is 22. The average age in North America is 27. The average age in South America is 25. Now, if you don't believe that the average age in this world right now is 31, go to Google and look it up and then give me a call. And then ask yourself, why would I say those things? I'm saying those things because if you as a business owner is not looking at those numbers, then you're going to miss the boat. Why did Facebook change themselves to Meta? They got 3 million people on Facebook, 3 million older people.
Mm-hmm.
Zuckerberg wanted 3 million young people. So he not only changed the name, but claimed the metaverse so he can get 3 million young people on that side. It's only 8 million people on the planet. If he has 6 billion people, guess what he's able to do? It's to control the entire world.
Exactly.
What are you going to do about it? And you would say, ain't nothing I can do. He got all the money in the world. It is something that you can do about it. You can take the time and be a part of the Black Business Network and get on this Black Business Network because we got it free to do now. But before long, it's going to cost us. We can get in the metaverse and share that information and continue to build businesses all over the world.
And you know, Doc, we have Kay coming in from the Philippines. She said the BBE is opening opportunities like no other. Honesty, professionalism, and entrepreneurship at its best. Angie says very powerful, and we got people streaming in from all over the world. And folks, when you come in, if you haven't yet, go ahead and let us know where you're coming in from. Latoya said full of knowledge. Kay said you are remarkable, Dr. Kelly. And of course, we have so many folks streaming in. Yvonne said, okay. Latoya said, Dr. Kelly is the truth, and we know he is the truth. And Overseer Gail C. Richardson says, great word. And so many of you, if you don't see your information up here, don't just take it for love, because guess what? This is a million and a billion and a trillion opportunity for you to connect with the Black Business Expo. And so we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back for our final words of wisdom. We will be right back. Wow.
Thank you for watching the show. And remember, always follow us on Facebook, like and share, and make sure you tag a friend and let them know that you care. Let us know what other type of shows you'd like us to present for you. Here tonight on the Lotus Riché Ignites Show.
Woo! Awesome, so awesome. So look, folks, we are so happy that you have joined us today. We want to make sure that you connect with us. And before we go, Doc, I know that you have a lot that you're doing, but I can't let you get out of here without sharing this with our audience. You know, I always got some secret sauce, and you only touched on it a little bit. But if you need a painting, Dr. Kelly paints like no other. I invite you to go to his museum. You see, Eric Kelly III Museum. Go to his museum. It is dedicated to the life works of Eric Kelly III. He's a painter and master pasteless of neo-abstract expressive style. So make sure you go here and actually spend some time, because when you go here, you go to the gallery, you go to the art tours, you go to the art books and blogs. It's going to knock your socks off. So go here. You can shop here. You can buy your painting and it'll come right over to your house. You don't even have to come out of your house. So,
Well, Dr. Lotus Riché, I know you went to the museum and you went directly to the store, but let's take the people to the actual museum.
sure.
This is actually the store. And I'm going to give a quick story. My great grandfather, when I was 7 years old, walked into my bedroom and he said, I want you to be a lawyer. And he brought these big books. And now you got to understand, I'm 7 years old. Okay. You bring all these books in here and I'm a kid and I'm looking at these books and I'm saying, them books right there, they big books. And I know they got big words in them. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. And my great grandfather says, I want you to be a lawyer, because every day when I was in elementary, in nursery school, we would walk to his house, and he would go by the courthouse. We sit in the courtroom and we watch what was going on. And so I said, no, grandfather, I want to be an artist, because I started drawing at 4 in church. And he said, well, where's your artwork at? If you don't have no artwork, you're going to be a lawyer. And lucky for me, I went to the bed, under my bed, I brought my pad out and I showed him my pad. And he said, oh, you were serious about this? I said, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to be. And then he walked out the room. I thought he was mad. He took them books and walked out the room and walked back in there and sat me down in the chair and said, if you're going to be an artist, then we're going to start your museum right here. We're going to start it in this hallway right here. He started the Eric Keller Museum. If you go to my website, the story is right there. He started the museum, and he said to me, and I still live by that today. He said, don't give your work away. He said, put the value on your work that you feel like the value is. He said, only sell to collectors. And so that's what I do. I only sell to collectors. So if you call me up and you're not a collector, I'm going to check your pedigree. I'm going to see if you got any other art in your house. I need to see what else you got before we start talking about the work. And some people would say, well, Doc, that's not good. I might be a new collector. Well, I want you to understand what my great-grandfather was sharing with me as a kid. And it has gone true all throughout my career. Collectors will protect your work. Collectors will know where your work is. And collectors will keep that work and keep that work alive, because art is a life form. You know, I had a chance to talk to a young lady, a young artist, LaToya Henson's daughter. And LaToya Henson's daughter, LaToya is my production chief, my assistant. She does a great things for me. And I was talking to her daughter, and her daughter was looking at my work, and she said, oh, I like the work, but them teeth. And I said to her, I said, you are an artist because you have an opinion, and you got to let your opinion grow. And so when you start talking about that opinion, that's what you begin to see in terms of what I do. I have an opinion, and so I share that opinion with the world. And Dr. Lotus Riché, thank you so very much for just sharing with the world just a little thing of what I do. Yeah, I got the suit and tie on, but this is going to be on for a few minutes, because as soon as this show is over, I'm going to snatch the towel. I'm going to pull the shirt back, just like Clark Kent turning into Superman, pull out my brushes and get busy, because I want all of you to know that each time I do an interview, I'm stopping myself from painting. And you know, that's what I love. That's what I do every day. That's who I am. And this piece right here that you're looking at, and my son and I paint with both of our hands. That's a little tidbit of a trinket about what we do. But these pieces that you're looking at are a part of a NFT that I'm going to release, and it's going to be called Eric. It's going to be called Eric Kelly III every month. I did a piece every month that's going to be an NFT that I'm going to release to the world. Every month I did a piece of artwork for over 7 years. That's going to be interesting. Over 7 years of artwork that I've done, I'm going to be releasing that NFT collection. And I know there are people out there saying, when are you going to do it? And I am going to be releasing that for the community and the world to see my work as we continue to build upon the metaverse, And I'm going to give another one, Dr. Lotus. There is another project that I'm getting ready to drop called Looky Boos that we're going to be releasing. That's going to be some digital NFTs that we're going to release. You know, I keep trying to talk to you, but I want to say this to everybody this evening.
Hold on, Doc. Is it Looky, LOOKIEBOOS?
I'm gonna put it in the chat. I'm gonna let my board of directors put it in the chat, the name, because we've been playing with this name, and I think we finally got a name that is not a name that anybody else has, but it's gonna be, I believe, Looky Boos. I think that's it. But it's gonna be Looky Boos. It's gonna be a digital community. It's gonna be a digital community of people looking but not speaking. It's gonna be a digital asset that you're gonna be able to buy. I'm telling you now, as people say, if you don't know, now you know.
No.
And we just want people to understand, Lotus, Dr. Riché, we want people to know that it's going to be a non-fungible token. It's going to be NFT, a non-fungible token. And all of the proceeds are going to go to the student scholarships for the Black Business Olympics. That's where the money is going. You know, anytime that I come to you, I'm always looking at how to help a child be the great child that they are.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So I want to thank each and every one of you here tonight for joining us and for being a part of what we do. And as you see, it's NFTs, non-fungible tokens, and we kind of abbreviated it stuff there, but it's for the students. And we want you to know that Looky Boos is coming right to you, and it's digital assets, and it's going to help students all around the world. So with no further ado, I will say to you, I so appreciate you. And we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to be right back here for our final words of wisdom from Dr. Eric Kelly. So stay tuned. And those of you that's just joining us, hit the replay. We'll be right back.
Remember, follow the show on YouTube, subscribe, and ring that bell so you don't miss a thing as you ignite and take flight in every area of your life.
Hello, and welcome back to the show. I have had the amazing pleasure to have each and every one of you tonight. And thank you so much, Hillary, out of Chicago, for letting us know that it's a great show. And well, Dr. Eric Kelly has been a phenomenal guest, and he's back with his final words of wisdom for this show. And of course, we're going to be bringing him back. And don't forget to make sure you connect with him. Dr. Kelly, please share your words of wisdom.
Well, first of all, I'd like to say to you and your community, you're doing a phenomenal job. You're changing people's lives. You're giving life-changing information to change people's life. I want to say to you, thank you for your greatness, for being a phenomenal woman, doing phenomenal things in a phenomenal time. Many people would say that right now is a bad time for Black people all over the world, where Black people getting shot at grocery stores, where Black people being murdered in the street. But this is the greatest time that's ever been on this planet. Technology right now at our fingertips, with no gatekeeper keeping us from going where we want to go and do what we want to do. I want to again thank some phenomenal women or some great women that's been on my team. I want to thank Dr. Madeline Lewis. I want to thank Latoya Henson. I want to thank Sharon Campbell. I want to thank Maxine Pearl McCoy. I want to thank my mama, Willie Francis Cagle. I want to thank Nicole Maxwell. I want to thank so many people who make it happen for me. I want to thank Sheila Jackson Lee. But one person I want to thank more than anybody else, I want to thank Lovella Stansel Kelly, my grandmother. Want to thank her. Want to thank Henry Stansel. Want to thank, and I always say thank you, because thank you is a word that we don't use enough, because people don't have to do what we do. The word of wisdom for this evening. The word of wisdom for this evening is this. It takes the same amount of time to do something big as it does something small. Think big. Think about your project, your business. Think about everything that you do from the end in mind. The art of war is to think from the end in mind. Stop devaluing your talent. If you are in business, look at that business that stands right beside you. That is that $1 billion business, and ask the question, what is the difference between them being a $1 billion business and you being a $1,000 business or $1 million business or $100 business? The only difference is the wisdom in the thought of how they created that business, the strategy that they're using, the visionary strategy that they're using to propel their business in the stratosphere. Please, sir and ma'am, if you're a Black business, do the research about business. Do it, even if you've been in business for 10 or 20 years, go and do the research on business. Be relentless. Learn to sell your business to everybody. But more importantly, stop devaluing your value. And remember, if you don't value your value, then your value would not be valuable. With that being said, give us a call on the speaker hotline. We want to hear your voice. Our kids want to hear what you have to say. Call us today and make sure that you remember, when you reach across the aisle to a child and you help that student do better in their life, you are helping our future to be bigger and better. 24 hours a day, Black businesses talking about business is a reality, because you want to make it happen. Not me. You want to make it happen. Don't just sit on the sidelines and be a spectator to the metaverse. Don't sit on the sideline and be a spectator to blockchain technology. Don't sit on the sidelines and be a spectator to cryptocurrency, because it's coming whether you like it or not. Don't be on the sidelines for NFTs. It's coming whether you like it or not. Don't be on the sideline. Be a part of the power of Black business. Give us what you got. Show us your brilliance. Give us what you got. Share today your wisdom, your power, and your phenomenal greatness. I'm Dr. Eric Kelly III from the south side of the Bull City, saying to you, as I say to each and every day, without love, there is no happiness. And without happiness, there is no peace of mind. Throw away your blueprint and lay on the table a green print to happiness. And that's what it's all about each and every day. Again, I want to thank all the people that got me here, that made sure that I'm here. Thank you for Dr. Lotus Riché. Thank you for her assistant that made sure I'm here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I know some people say, why you just keep saying thank you? I keep saying thank you because that's how I feel deep down inside. Because at the end of the day, if you don't show up, you're not going to get what you want. Just remember, a good friend said to me by the name of Bruce George, that your actions will snitch on you. And another good friend Tommy Morgan Jr. said, there is no elevator to the top floor. You must take the stairs. You have to do the work. And as I continue to say, and my quote to you each and every day is, what you're looking for is looking for you. Thank you, Dr. Lotus Riché, and all of the people that gave the comments. Thank you for allowing an old man to sit in the chair and say to all of you, thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Dr. Kelly. And for all of you that's had the opportunity to grace us with your presence, I want to thank you for all you do. Thank you to all our sponsors. And thank you for changing your mind and getting in the game tonight and hearing what we had to share about Black business, about business that involves you. Thank you for letting us share our secret sauce with you. And so I want to tell you, don't forget to support the channel. You can support us by PayPal, and you can connect with us on our show on Facebook. You can connect with us and sell and support us. And don't forget, if you need a one-on-one streaming training, I'm the person you need to connect with today. And if you want to get your commercial done, you're at the right place at the right time. And to be a celebrity on the show, just like Dr. Kelly, make sure you connect with us at LotusIgnitesShow.com, and we will help you do just that. And don't forget to use my calendar link and connect with me for a one-on-one. And so with no further ado, don't forget to join me tomorrow on my show, where we have none other than the wonderful Mrs. Charlene Sparks, and we are going to talk about the incredible caregivers. Until I see you again, please, please, please be blessed. And don't forget to connect with the Black Business Expo and the Black Business Olympics. We'll see you tomorrow night at 8. Good night.
Remember, follow the show on YouTube, subscribe, and ring that bell so you don't miss a thing as you ignite and take flight in every area of your life.
Thanks to Dr. Eric Kelly III. Good night.